gave him a peculiar crab-like sideward gait. The rough miners and stockmen called this youth Hop-along or Get-along or Limpy, whatever name popped into their minds at the time, but each name indicative of his crippled condition. No one knew anything about Gitalong, and no one cared. Deadwood had its share of roving youths, mostly runaway and parentless, some good, some middling to fair, and a lot just plain ornery. Gitalong belonged to the first or second category as far as anyone knew. He lived in a low-roofed, unsteady lean-to he'd cobbled together out of broken planks, cast-off wagon canvases, and soiled sacking. He did laundry, ran errands, and when business was poor in these lines of endeavor, he could usually be found outside Ace Morton's Bluebell Saloon, hopefully waiting for someone to dash up on a lathered horse, which he'd offer to cool out for a dime, or maybe take across to the livery barn for a 5-cent piece. Gitalong was a hustler. He was also a familiar sight around Deadwood, summer or winter, in his oversized, hand-me-down, cast-off clothing, his cracked boots, and his warped left leg. People recognized him like they also recognized the permanence of the Black Hills roundabout, or the evening stage, or the everlasting summertime dust, as something familiar and acceptable and totally unimportant. Gitalong was tall. He was also thin. It was this thinness which made him seem even taller. At 6 feet in height, he didn't weigh over 135 pounds wringing wet. Or, as Marshal Fred Nolan had sagely observed one time, Gitalong was skinny enough to drop through the hole in the seat of his pants and choke himself to death. He was outside the Bluebell the bright, sunshiny morning when 3 dusted-over trail hands hit town from a new cow camp westerly near the river where one of the northbound Montana herds had bedded down the evening before. There were 2 other strangers tying up at the rack, granite-jawed, gray-eyed, taciturn men, also dusted over. Gitalong had hit these first 2 up to walk their animals or run errands for them. They had both gazed at him, up and down, and had shaken their heads, so he now turned to the 3 young buckaroos with the same offer. One of the cowboys rolled his eyes around at the other 2 as he swung down, and broadly smiled as he said in his unmistakable Texas drawl, "Well, sir, old busted leg, there is an errand you could run for me and my partners. Now tell me right out now, old gimpy, how much do you charge for these here errands you run for folks?" Gitalong's very thin face smiled back at the husky range rider. "Dime," he said, "for any errand here in town, just a dime." The drover dug in a trouser pocket, came up with a small silver coin, and looked around as the other 2 swaggered up, their eyes bright with mischief. He looked back at Gitalong, still grinning, but with his eyelids drooping just a little. "Here's the dime, crippled boy. Now all you got to do is run and fetch us 3 girls. That's all." The Texan pushed out his hand. "Take it, old busted leg. It's your dime." "Take it." Gitalong looked at the outheld hand. He looked into the husky cowboy's grinning face and unsmiling, scornful eyes. "I can't do that," he said, reddening. "I run other kind of errands." The cowboy drew back his hand, his smile dying. "You can't, or you won't?" he asked. "Old busted leg, where we come from, when a fellow tells a fellow like you to jump, all you do is ask how high. Now you better go fetch them girls, 'cause I got a feelin' under them rags you're wearin' you need a bath, and yonder's a big old waterin' trough." Gitalong's dark-ringed gray gaze turned apprehensive. He was cornered. He couldn't outrun them, and he couldn't outfight them. He'd been bullied before. He knew exactly what was going to happen now, too, and afterward, when he crawled out of the trough, everyone would roar with laughter.